Okay, so it seems we need to talk about polarity again, because people seem to really not be getting this. It doesn't really matter what you're doing, polarity is the framework for it. As I said in the very first few lessons, that if you can't get the law of polarity down, forget it, because I won't be able to help you. The reason people aren't getting it is simply they're not doing the work. Just because you've watched a few videos and can understand the concepts logically, that doesn't mean that you're depolarized. It takes 6 to 12 months of daily work, which if you began back when I started this channel, you should just now be getting to the point where you're becoming fairly depolarized. If you're polarized, you're going to have a tendency to look at depolarization from a polarized perspective. I had someone message me with the idea of starting a depolarization group, which completely misses the point of depolarization. Groups, by their very nature, are polarized. If you put iron filings around a magnet, those iron filings are going to really group up around the poles. Well, people are the same way. The groups are highly polarized. You're either in them or you're out. You're either a member or you're a non-member. A group automatically categorizes people into us and them. Groups are designed to bring together those of like mind, meaning those of the same polarity. So a group on depolarization completely misses the point altogether. Now, I'm not saying that people's hearts aren't in the right place or they don't have the best intentions. But intentions aren't everything. I know a lot of people in the magic community will tell you that intention is everything, but it's not. It's important, but as the saying goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, when they're not backed up by sound principles. So why would you want to depolarize yourself? What are the pros and cons? Well, first thing is that your awareness will increase a lot, because now your perspective is at a neutral point where you can view both sides easily, whereas those in polarity can only view from one side. And you can see this in religion or politics or any other highly polarized groups, where the right will never see the viewpoint of the left, and vice versa. They will never be able to grasp the concepts. They will just think that the other side is stupid because there's no possible way that they could ever understand the perspective of the opposite polarity. Depolarizing yourself will make you immune to this. You'll be at a neutral point in the middle. You won't really have any interest in debating people, but at the same time you could debate either side if you wanted to. Next, when you're depolarized, it makes you very, very difficult to move, while those in polarity are highly reactive and therefore easy to move. If you have two magnets and you take the pole from one magnet and put it to the other pole of the other magnet, it will react. How it reacts depends on which pole you're putting towards it. It will either be repelled or it will be attracted. Now, if you take the poles of the first magnet and put it towards the middle of the other magnet, it will react very little, if at all. The downside to this is a tendency to stagnate. When you're depolarized and you're in neutrality, you will have a tendency to stagnate, which is why it's important to establish good habits that support your goals. I literally have to force myself to do these videos. I have the faith that they'll serve their purpose, but I myself can take or leave it either way. The big advantage to being depolarized is it makes you very, very difficult to manipulate by those in the know who use polarity against you. Those in polarity are always opposed to the other side and are always for their own side, while those who are depolarized can play either side. When you're depolarized, you get to become Bugs Bunny instead of the polarized Daffy Duck.
That, sir, is an investigated fabrication. It's wabbit season. Duck season. Wabbit season. Duck season. Wabbit season. Duck season. Wabbit season. Wabbit season. Duck season. Wabbit season. I say it's duck season, and I say fire.
Now, do you see how calm, centered, and grounded Bugs Bunny is while he's doing that? It doesn't work if he's as reactive as Daffy Duck. It's Daffy Duck's highly polarized and reactive state that gets him shot in the face. He's polarized himself against Bugs Bunny, and therefore he's going to say the opposite of whatever Bugs Bunny says. It's that simple to manipulate a polarized person. Polarity is nothing if not predictable. It's real easy to get somebody polarized against you and then slip in a suggestion that is the opposite of what you really want them to do, and they'll go and do that, simply because they're opposed to you. But it doesn't work if you're polarized and opposed to them yourself. To be able to not react to their polarity against you is key, because otherwise you have two Daffy Ducks arguing and debating each other endlessly with no resolution in a polarity shoving match. To use polarity to your advantage, though, you have to depolarize yourself to the point where your ego doesn't react to people getting up in your face, calling you names, cussing you out, etc. You can take it or leave it. It's your choice. That's not to say you have to put up with that kind of behavior. But now you have the choice on how you wish to deal with it, instead of auto-reacting in opposition. It's amazing what one can accomplish simply by using polarity alone. But in order to be in a position to use it effectively, you need to be depolarized. And in magic, it's the same thing. Because in magic, you're either trying to draw something towards you to attract something to you, or to repel it or push it away. By being centered, grounded, and in the middle, you're the one that gets to decide whether to push or pull, instead of being the one pushed or pulled. So, I hope this has clarified things a bit better for people, and I'll see you next time. Take care.
Let's try that again. Okay, I'll start it this time. Right. Wabbit season. Duck season. Wabbit season. Wabbit season. Duck season. Fire! Okay, this time you start it. Whatever you say. Wabbit. Duck! Fire!